Death is not your enemy, it's not even your future. It's your constant companion walking hand in hand with life at every moment of existence. A strange thing happens when you really slow down and think about death. Not in a dramatic or panic way, just honestly. We spend most of our lives pretending death is something that happens later, like it's an appointment on a calendar we don't have to look at yet. But death isn't later, it's walking next to life the entire time. And the stories we tell ourselves about what comes after it say more about us than about reality. Across history, across cultures, humans have told different versions of the same story. That when you die, you don't really stop. Sometimes it's religion, sometimes spirituality, sometimes reincarnation, energy, or something more. And I'm not here to attack any of that, but I'm here to say this. If someone tells you they absolutely know what happens to consciousness after death, after you stop breathing, after your brain shuts down, after your body has been lifeless at room temperature for a day, they may believe it, they may find comfort in it, they may have heard it from someone they trust, but knowing and believing are not the same thing. And no matter what belief you were raised in, deep down you know that they don't know. And pretending they do is dangerous and dishonest in my opinion. Please like, comment and subscribe. There, we did the ritual. Are you afraid of death? Or do you want to live forever? Most people don't imagine forever as forever. They imagine more of the parts of life they already like. More good days, more health, more meaning. But forever isn't more good days. Forever is time without an ending. And the human mind isn't built for that. And we already have a preview of this. Imagine the crankiest old man you've ever met. Nothing shocks them, nothing impresses them, everything annoys them.
Sorry.
Same stories, same mistakes, same arguments they've heard 1,000 times. Now imagine living multiple lifetimes, not while getting old, but while staying physically young. Same brain, same memories, same emotional wear and tear. How patient do you think you'll be? How many conversations before you're exhausted? How many cycles of the same human nonsense before it all feels predictable? Old age isn't the only thing that makes people cranky, it's the accumulation that comes with it. And forever is nothing but accumulation with no exit. So eternal youth wouldn't make you joyful. It would make you endlessly experienced in a world that keeps on repeating itself. Endings aren't just sad, they're what gives life shape. Deadlines make you move, aging makes you care, loss makes things matter. And when time is unlimited, that pressure disappears. And if you have forever, nothing is urgent, nothing has to happen now. And when nothing has to happen, you're not really moving towards anything anymore, you're just continuing. At that point, life stops being about purpose and starts being about endurance. And this is usually when someone says, maybe mind would adapt, maybe memories would fade, maybe you'd reset emotionally. Okay, sure. But now we need to be honest about what that actually means. If your memories fade, if your personality resets, if your weight of experience disappears, then what's continuing forever isn't you. It's just consciousness cycling through versions. At that point, you don't live forever. You just get replaced repeatedly. So you're left with a trade-off. Keep your identity and carry the exhaustion, or remove the exhaustion and lose continuity. Either way, the comforting version of forever is gone. So when people say they want to live forever, what they usually mean is, I want the good parts to keep going without paying the full cost. And this is where Alan Watts had an interesting point. He pretty much said that you never experience absence of experience. Not your ego, not your name, memories, or personality. Those end. But from the inside, experience itself never appears to stop, because there is no experience of nothingness. Nothing is not a thing you can experience. You only ever experience something, awareness, being, happening. Watts isn't saying you come back. He isn't talking about rebirth, souls, or identity continuing. He is saying the person called you is a temporary ripple, and the experience itself is an ocean. Not as you, not with your memories or personality, just experience happening. So from your own point of view, subjectively, it feels like experience never ends, because you never experience non-existence. From the outside, it's clear that experience is something the brain produces. Scientifically, as far as the evidence goes, consciousness isn't something separate from the brain, it's something that the brain does. So your mind is what the brain does. So if the brain dies, there's no reason to believe that something else is gonna continue. But you never know. So pretty much when the brain stops functioning, consciousness stops with it. And when the brain shuts down, experience ends. And that's why in non-existence it's so hard to wrap your head around. Mark Twain was asked if he was afraid of death. And his answer was, "I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and I had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it." Alright, let's shift gears for a second. We talk all about death, but we almost never stop and look at life as a whole. So let's do that for a moment. I want you to look at something. If you get a ticket to life, this is what it looks like. One picture, not a metaphor, not a lesson, just reality. So what we have here is luxury and suffering sharing the same frame. Celebration and destruction occur simultaneously. Safety and war, hunger and celebration, one animal eating another. Predator and prey exist within the same system. And you get to look at this picture and you get to join it. But you don't get to choose who you will be and what part of the picture you will land in. So the question is, would you join it? Would you become part of this picture if it was your choice? Or would you rather stay in non-existence? And I know some people will say, come on, that's not the world I live in. I'm sitting in my room right now. I got heat, air conditioning, food, and fridge. My life doesn't look like that. That's true, but that's not the point. The point is your little bubble of comfort is not the whole picture. It's not even most of the picture. It's just a part of reality you happen to land in. Because for most of the world, for most human history and most living creatures on Earth, life is much closer to this image than your living room. And that's what makes this question real. You don't get to choose the version you get. You don't get to pick whether you the one at the table or the one starving in the street or the animal being eaten alive. You just arrive somewhere in a frame, and the odds of landing in a comfortable corner are smaller than people want to admit. Zoom out far enough and scale changes. Humans make up 0.01% of living biomass on Earth. And today, roughly 60% of all mammals on Earth are livestock, mostly cattle and pigs. And those are bred for human consumption. And even as a human, even in the most fortunate circumstances, you do not escape the structure of life. You will experience love, you will experience loss, you will experience illness, and in time, death. You know, I'm actually gonna take that back, because there are no guarantees that you're going to experience love or happiness or any kind of pleasure. But one thing is for certain, you will experience pain and death. And most humans are not in comfort. Most humans live in constant stress, pain, or poverty. And for most animals, life is absolutely brutal. Hungry, cold, violent. No safety net, no meaning, no explanation. Just survive until you don't. People will call this pessimism. It's not, it's evaluation. Existence has a cost. And most of this cost is paid by beings who never agreed to be here. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm not telling you what's true. I'm just saying this. If you're going to talk about eternity, about life, about consciousness, you should at least look at the full picture. And maybe the most honest question isn't what happens after death, but whether existence itself is something worth choosing if you were asked in the first place. And of course, none of us get asked. We just arrive and spend our lives trying to justify the fact that we did. That's it for this one, and thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video.